I love musicals. To quote a lyric from the recent Broadway success, Something Rotten,
What's not to love? It's such a delight. There's nothing quite like a musical.
I'm particularly enthralled by the variety that there is within the musical theatre canon, from golden age classics like Guys and Dolls in Oklahoma to more controversial and experimental works like Jesus Christ Superstar and The Rocky Horror Show, to more contemporary, modern musicals like Hamilton. Thank you, Lin-Manuel Miranda, for making musicals cool again. However, I will argue to the day I die that the greatest musical ever written is South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. In fact, I don't just believe the South Park movie to be the greatest musical ever written, I think it's one of the greatest pieces of art ever made. I'm going to make more videos on South Park in the future and on the film. However, today I'm just going to focus solely on musical theatre conventions because there's just so much to unpack. The film was released in 1999, so at the end of a decade known as the Disney Renaissance. For those who aren't familiar with this term, I'll elaborate. Walt Disney died in 1966, with the last film he led being The Jungle Book. For the following 2 decades, Disney's films became unstructured and muddled, resulting in several box office failures. So, starting with The Little Mermaid in 1989, Disney took a new approach by imitating Broadway conventions to the point where they basically hired Alan Menken to write their songs for every single film they made, except for The Lion King. After 10 years of back-to-back triumphs, audiences had grown to adore animated musicals. So when Trey Parker and Matt Stone brought forward their new R-rated attempt, it was dividing, to say the least. The songs were written by Trey Parker, who is one half of the duo behind South Park. However, the songs were written in collaboration with Marc Shaiman, a Broadway legend, who a few years later would go on to write the songs for Hairspray. Trey Parker himself is also a huge fan of musical theatre and constantly tries to incorporate it into his work, such as in his student film called Alfred Packer, also known as Cannibal the Musical. There's also a couple of fun little interludes in Team America World Police. And then there's his full-blown musical, Book of Mormon, which has been selling out theatres all around the world since 2011, and it won 9 Tony Awards when it premiered. Basically, these guys knew what they were doing. And now I'm going to take you through the film, looking at each song and explaining the musical theatre conventions that are being used. As I'm sure you're going to see, it's pretty amazing. The musical begins with an upbeat ensemble number called Mountain Town, intended to excite the audience and draw them in. It follows the main character, an 8-year-old called Stan, as he travels through his town, inviting each of his friends to go and see the new Terrence and Phillip movie, Artists of Fire. Already, Parker and Shaiman are potentially playing with Disney Renaissance ideas, because it's quite reminiscent of Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Bonjour! 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 Bonjour!
There goes the baker with his tray, like always.
The sun is shining and the grass is green under the 3 feet of snow, I mean. This is a day when it's hard to wear a frown.
The boys sneak into the R-rated movie and are instantly amazed by all the endless swearing, particularly in the song Uncle Fucker. This is an inversion of classic vaudeville duets where the pair play off each other in jest, like, for example, the performance of the Nicholas brothers.
Maybe a lucky 11. That you'll be in heaven. Lucky number for me. Yeah.
Traditionally, around halfway through one of these types of songs, the pair would break into a huge, incredible tap routine. And Terrence and Phillip basically do the same, but with farts. The whole song is wonderfully vulgar, causing several audience members to leave the cinema exclaiming,
What's garbage? Well, what do you expect? They're Canadian.
The South Park movie, however, isn't just a series of showstoppers. Parker and Shaiman keep it quite cleverly grounded in music by including little fragments and motifs that appear throughout the musical, a main one being Wendy's song. Stan sings the song in sort of soliloquy form every time Wendy appears. It's quite a nuanced musical. The children soon start to repeat the words that they've heard in Artists of Fire. As a result, their parents send them to therapy so they can learn not to swear. This is shown through the incredible ensemble number, It's Easy, Uncut. The song is quite simple, with the same set of lyrics, or instructions, first being sung by the counsellor, Mr. Mackey, and then by all the students. It's almost like a parody of the song Do Re Mi from The Sound of Music.
Do! A deer, a female deer.
Except instead of teaching the kids the 7-note scale, they're being taught
Step 1, instead of ass, say buns, like kiss my buns or you're a buns hole.
Despite Mr. Mackey's wonderful guidance, the kids go and see the film again and repeat what they saw. This is taken to the extreme when Kenny accidentally kills himself by trying to light his fart on fire. He ascends to heaven accompanied by a beautiful ballad, but then when he is denied access and sent to hell, his fall is accompanied by a great heavy metal number called Hell Isn't Good. The timbre is like no other song in this musical to highlight that change in setting. In fact, Trey Parker and Matt Stone used heavy metal with the same intention in the Book of Mormon for their hilarious song, Spooky Mormon Hell Dream.
Now he's back with all you Catholics and Jews. It's the gospel.
Outraged that their children haven't been cured, the parents of South Park turn their distaste to the source of the problem. The song Blame Canada was loved so much that it was nominated at the Oscars for Best Original Song and was performed at the ceremony by an incredible ensemble cast led by Hollywood legend Robin Williams. It didn't win. Ironically, it lost to a Disney film. It lost to You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan, which was written by Phil Collins. Now, I actually really like the songs in that film, and I agree that You'll Be in My Heart is better than Blame Canada. However, I do have a feeling that there are better songs in the South Park movie which could have been nominated, but they weren't because they wanted to keep the Oscars ceremony PG. Slag off all the foreigners you want, but don't you dare use some naughty words. Ah, America. For me, there is only one clear contender for best song in the South Park movie, and that is Cartman's song about the founder of Mothers Against Canada, the organisation which arrested Terence and Phillip. The song, this is a brilliant patter song, a song where the singer has to spit out many words very quickly, like Modern Major General from the Pirates of Penzance.
So they didn't tell you nothing till that back in the century. Has only been out at the beginning of the century. Silly man is ready to the land of all the mineral. I am the very bottle of the vitamin general.
Furthermore, for those who like Easter eggs in film and TV, it's actually a nod to the first series of South Park, where a more simple version of the song is sung in the episode Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh.
Cashman is a bitch. Mr. Hanky, no.
What?
It is later announced that the USA have declared war on Canada, and at a USO show, the prisoners Terence and Phillip will be executed. In response to this, the boys look to the sky and go, what would Brian Boitano do? They soon break into an upbeat song about their god and fall at plan of action. If anyone's interested in a recommendation of a similar type of song from another musical, I recommend High Adventure, which was written by Alan Menken specifically for the Broadway adaptation of Disney's Aladdin. I'm not saying that Menken does it better or anything, but he gets around, doesn't he? What Would Brian Boitano Do is another Easter egg to old South Park, this time actually to the shorts that were made before the full series was commissioned. The short is called The Spirit of Christmas, Jesus vs. Santa.
What would Brian Boitano do? Yeah, what would Brian Boitano do?
Did someone say my name?
Parker and Shaiman have already employed a variety of musical theatre notions, and the next one they include is the I Want song. Now, Alan Menken is the king of I Want songs, with classics such as Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid, or Somewhere That's Green from Little Shop of Horrors. Typically, an I Want song is sung by a female character who is unfulfilled in life and dreams of better things. The Disney princess in the South Park movie is none other than the Prince of Darkness, Satan. He dreams about going up to Earth and living happily among the mortals, but sadly he's stuck ruling hell alongside his abusive boyfriend Saddam Hussein. The next musical theatre trope employed is the medley. Now, probably the most famous musical theatre medley is One Day More from Les Miserables, where fragments of songs are sung simultaneously and subsequently by soloists and big groups of performers. Parker and Shaiman's version, La Resistance, is a complete triumph, with perfectly placed inclusions of Uncle Fucker, Blame Canada, Up There, alongside new material from soldiers looking forward to the execution of Terence and Philip, to the boys with their plan to rescue these prisoners during the USO show. We're reaching towards the climax of the movie now, so the composers go all out with two showstoppers. The first is a light-hearted character song called I Can Change, which is sung by Saddam Hussein to try and manipulate Satan into staying with him. The second is this extravagant choreographed spectacle called I'm Super, which the boys get Big Gay Al to sing during the USO show in order to stall time for the rescue of Terence and Philip. These two songs remind me of two of Sally Bowles' numbers from the musical Cabaret, which is a musical full of show-stopping set pieces. I don't have enough evidence to suggest that there's actually a correlation, but just rewatching the film recently reminded me of two songs, Mine Hair and Life is a Cabaret.
Some people say that I'm a bad guy.
You have to understand the way I am, mine hair.
They may be right. They may be right.
So I do what I do. When I'm through, then I'm through.
But I can change, I can change. I can learn to keep my promises, I swear it.
Bye-bye, mein Herr, mein Herr. Auf Wiedersehen, mein Herr. Es war sehr gut, mein Herr, und vorbei.
Ending, the script becomes the main storytelling device. However, the audience are treated to two reprises in order to keep the piece a well-structured musical. The first is a slow, sombre reprise of La Resistance, as one of the young rebels dies in action. And then at the end, once the boys have saved the day, the musical ends with a reprise of Mountain Town in the typical form of finale ultimum. Like in several other musicals, a section of an earlier song is brought back at the end, but slowed down at its climax, and it's dramatically delivered with hair-raising harmonies and heart-pounding timpani. It is truly sublime. Well, that's the film. A perfectly crafted piece incorporating pretty much every tradition of musical theatre and inverting the standards of the Disney Renaissance. It also paved the way for the acceptance of adult language in both musical theatre and in animated films. In fact, it was the highest grossing R-rated animated film of all time until 2016, when it was overtaken by the film Sausage Party, a movie with a soundtrack by Alan Menken. You just can't beat him, can you? I hope you enjoyed the video. It was really, really fun to make. If you did, maybe consider subscribing. It would really, really help. I'm going to start releasing videos every week, so any support in terms of likes or subscribes, I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Comment down below what your favourite South Park song is. It just doesn't have to be from the South Park movie. There are some pretty good songs from the show as well. But yeah, see you next week.